I'm Dean, I'm the dad.
I'm Laura, I'm the mom.
And I'm Krysta, I'm the daughter.
And together we are Family Plot. Very nice, that worked out so well. Welcome to the show. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First and foremost, Patreon. We got 2 levels right now, $1 and $3. It doesn't matter which one you go with. It's a monthly thing, and you get cool stuff no matter which one you get. So, sign up there. Or if you can't do a monthly donation, you can do a one-time donation through Buy Me a Coffee. If you don't have money, which we don't hold that against you, if you enjoy the show, please share it on social media.
Share it with friends.
Share it with family.
With everyone. And if you don't enjoy the show, please keep it to yourself. Awesome. That worked so well. So what are we talking about today? Well, today we look back on 2023. The big crimes, the strange ghosts and cryptids, and so much more in this very special year-end, year-beginning holiday episode of the Family Plot Podcast. But first, Krysta has a corner.
Hi, Krysta.
She's waiting for her claps, which, to be fair, I have a harder time finding when they're upside down.
It's not just any corner, it's Krysta's corner.
To be fair, that is fair. How was our 2023?
Busy.
Very.
Yep, we were super busy in 2023. 2023 was our 2 steps forward, 1 step back year.
More like our 1 step forward, 2 steps
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it really was more of a 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but we are going to definitely do better this year. I claim it for sure.
Well, I'm with you. So
we're gonna do it. That ain't our car. My 2023 was okay. It was the year of tears. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, there you go.
But there were some bright spots. You met some cool people. Some of them who were less cool when you stopped hanging out with them, but you met some cool people, and you discovered Supernatural.
I did discover.
Yes,
I did.
And you've made it to season 6, last I heard.
Yep.
So Yep. True, you don't know who Kevin is, but that'll come in time.
Know, but I will find out, and I will name a toaster Kevin.
He didn't speak through toasters; he spoke through coffee pots.
Well,
anyway, I know.
Spoke through, but I will call a coffee pot Kevin.
That's a good idea. So what else is going on in your corner today? And why are you playing with pins?
It's fun.
And a sewing tomato.
Yes, she can.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun until you poke yourself.
I'm not poking myself, though.
What's the matter, Krysta?
He's trying to tickle me, guys.
I would never tickle my Krysta.
That's a lie. What were you saying, Mom?
Not this kid.
You two are a mess. I love you both, but you're both a mess.
Yeah.
My Krysta's not a mess.
Yeah, I am.
I might be one, but my Krysta isn't.
You are too. I am most definitely a mess. Well, what'd you say, Mama?
Outside of you being a mess, I don't remember.
Oh,
Okay.
So you went back to school today.
I did.
Was it any better today than it was the last Friday you went, which was like 8 or 9 days ago?
Not really. It was a Wednesday.
Well, I thought you said it's better because your schedule changed.
Only the layout.
So she doesn't have to go up and down and up and
Yes,
down. And
that would make a big difference to my day. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I'm still tired. Don't get me wrong.
If
but
they-
it's a lot less.
if they let me sit down while I was at work, that would be an improvement to my day. They don't let me do that.
Sorry.
Maybe don't. It's digital footprint. Digital footprint. Careful what you say about your job.
Fair enough.
I don't have a digital footprint.
Yes, you do.
I barely have a carbon one.
Oh. Dad,
What?
you have a digital footprint. Everybody does.
I'm barely online other than to promote the show. The show has a bigger digital footprint than I do these days. One of us is crazy, and I'm not sure it's me.
I don't know, honey. You definitely have your moments.
So, what else are we talking about in Krysta's Corner? Hey, you know what next week is, though, don't you? Episode 180. And you know what that means.
Catching up with Krysta.
Yeah.
Yay! We love catching up with Krista.
I got a new drawing tablet, and I think I already said this last week, but I got a really cool shirt from I don't know who. I really don't remember who it was.
Yeah, probably Santa.
No, it was Dad.
Aw.
Aw. I still say it was probably Santa, but you know. So what else are we talking about? Yes, you did get a cool shirt. It's a Supernatural shirt, right?
Yes.
And it has Sam and Dean on it.
Sam, Dean, Cass, and I think their brother.
They have a brother?
Mhm.
I did not know this.
Yeah, on a hunt, he got a lady pregnant. And now they have a half-brother.
Cool.
Okay.
I miss that restaurant.
What restaurant?
Ryan's on 23rd Street.
Oh, yeah, I miss it too. That was a good place to
That
eat.
was so good.
Yes, it was. The only Ryans I know of anymore is in St. Joe, and I'd go there, but it's St. Joe. It's a long way.
Pretty far away.
That is quite a ways.
You know what I missed? I can't remember what it was, but like that one place that we had ate at that one night, and we met some cool people, and we went to I think another place for dessert or something.
Was that Stroud's? And then we went with Mike and Nancy to Perkins?
Maybe.
I think it was.
I like Stroud's.
Stroud's is pretty awesome.
I also went to Stroud's with Carla one time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stroud's is a crazy place. I love it much.
It's a very good place with food.
Yep. So what else do you want to talk about?
I got to go to a house with like over 20 cats.
Oh, I'm not sure that that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not allergic to cats, and that just sends off me in a volley of sneezes.
But they were cute, and some of them cuddled with me. Like one of them named Sylvester. I called him Sylvie. He's kept cuddling up to me. And I also met the cutest one, Lucy. She's not a baby, but she's so small and itty, and she's tiny, and I love her. She's
Aww.
like she's this big. She's that big.
Very nice.
And she's a decently old cat. There was another cat named Maria. One of her eyes is smaller than the other. But she was really cute too. I also met this other cat, Phoenix. I didn't get to touch Phoenix, but Phoenix is very pretty. Phoenix is a skittish cat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, okay. With where you went, I'm not sure how well they sequester their animals, and so the cat with the one eye bigger than the other, that may be due to a tiny bit of inbreeding.
It's possible.
Most likely, yes.
So, because that sort of, I don't know, there's not enough genetic code to copy, and so it just sort of gives up.
Fair enough.
Which,
Fair enough.
which
She was
is
cute though. She was adorable. I love Maria.
But
She was
yeah,
a very cuddly cat too.
that's why a lot of the kings and queens of Europe were bat fart crazy because
Inbreeding was a thing.
Yep, inbreeding was a thing.
I also met another cat. His name was Cheetos. He was adorable.
Nice.
He didn't let me pet him or anything, but he was cute, and I loved him.
Well, you know, with 20 cats, they have a bigger cat society than they have human ones. So, you know.
It wasn't me.
I think that's about it.
That's it? That's all you got?
All right. Well, thank you, Krysta.
Yeah.
Yay, Krysta! Sorry, that was loud, but
It's okay. Yay, Krysta. All righty. So, let's.
So I was gonna start us off, right?
Yes, you were going to start us off.
Okay, so before we get started talking about some odds and ends, I thought it would be fun to go through and revisit some of the topics that we talked about last year. So we started off last year, of course, with our New Year, New Weird episode, like we do every year.
Yep.
We talked about Black December and the shark attacks.
I do remember that now that you mention it. Yep.
Yep.
I remember that.
That was South Africa.
Absolutely.
Because it's one of the few places where you could get shark attacks in December.
Absolutely. We talked about gremlins.
I think
And
that one.
the Belvoir Winery, which is a local paranormal location.
Yep. And we talked to both Demix and Blue, who had added experiences in that location.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I remember that now that you say that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Last year in the spring, we talked about the Wendigo. We talked about Love and Lovelorn. We talked about the suicide forest in Japan.
The Aokigahara.
Yes, absolutely. And encouraged everyone to reach out for help if you are feeling that you may want to take that way out.
Mm-hmm.
We also talked about the Queen Mary and the Winchester Mystery House, which Krysta now has some makeup from the 100-year anniversary of the Winchester Mystery House from Vampire Cosmetics.
It's beautiful.
Which is beautiful and amazing. We talked about Dragon Triangle.
Yeah. Another place where people go missing.
Yep.
And strange things happen.
We talked about the Riverside Mansion.
Yes.
I remember Riverside Mountain.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Another local haunted location.
Amazing, amazing. We talked about several scenarios of sunken civilizations last year in April.
Yep. Because why just do Atlantis? Might as well cover them all.
Absolutely correct.
Atlantis is a good one, though.
I like Atlantis, yeah.
We visited some little-known myths and legends, and also talked about Kid Rex McElroy.
Oh, yeah, another one of those people that Krysta doesn't like.
Yep, Krysta can't stand him. We went on a haunted tour of Atchison, Kansas.
Yep.
Or just Kansas in general.
Yep.
Talked about the Villisca murder house.
Yeah. True crime and paranormal on that one.
Yep, absolutely. We learned about the Tower of London last year as well.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that episode.
Talked about the Tower of London and everything that happened there. We learned about that crazy Brother 12.
Yeah.
And that whole scenario.
Yeah, that weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah. We had lots of mentions of your man crush, my love.
Josh Gates.
Lots of mentions of Josh. We wouldn't
And I like that we're mentioning him first episode of the year.
Absolutely. I got you. I knew it. We talked about Robert the Doll.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about Mary Pickford, who was amazing, and learned a lot about her.
Which is interesting because I've spent most of yesterday and today preparing for next week's episode on Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And while there's not a lot in common there are certainly parallels.
Absolutely. We learned about the little girl who just doesn't like Mondays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember her.
Yep. Another person that Chris didn't care for.
I can't blame her. It's really, she was a messed up individual.
We met the two idiots that killed Brady and Kiefer. Or
yeah,
no, that was just one guy.
Killed Brady and Kiefer. Yep.
Yeah. The two idiots were from Idaho somewhere, I want to say.
Yep. And then we talked about Sacagawea and Hulan.
Hulan, yes. Yes, I remember.
So very, very busy and information-full year. We also talked about the Romani.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about the Romani.
One of my favorite episodes where we learned about the Romani people.
Yep, that was a great episode. And the funny thing is that I have, at different points this year, found mostly European posters in like Reddit and other places that still hate them, and they still refer to them as gypsies, unfortunately. Which
is a negative connotation. We talked about that and why that is.
Yep, and so it just made me feel like, because the thing was, where they stay, nobody can live after that, and I'm just like, they're staying on the edge of town where no one lives.
Right.
Yeah, there's probably more rats for a while after they're gone because. If you finish camping and go away, I hate to tell you this, anything you leave, animals come and check on to see if it's food.
Yep, that is true.
So
I thought it would be nice to take a little walk down memory lane, because I don't know about you, but I had forgotten that we had done several of those this last year.
Yes, I had forgotten as well.
So.
All right. Well, I'm going to take this first one, the second one here. I will give the next one to my Krysta. Starts with a search for Nessie. Earlier this year, in late August, a record number of people turned up at the Loch Ness Center near Inverness as a joint expedition between the Loch Ness Center and Loch Ness Exploration. A private research group looked for Nessie, aka the Loch Ness Monster. The high-tech expedition featured a hydrophone to listen for sounds in the murky water of the loch, as well as thermal imaging drones to surf the loch and look for the giant cryptid. People were also invited to examine the waters of the loch by going online and looking at cameras trained on the loch itself. Now, in 2019, a study of the waters of the lake looking for environmental DNA, or eDNA, of the creatures that live in the loch ruled out any large or prehistoric creatures living in the loch. However, it did say the loch is infested by a heck of a lot of eels. And so maybe the Loch Ness Monster is just a real big eel. They can get pretty large. However, this recent study located not one, not two, but 4 loud, strange noises deep in the waters of the loch, as well as a giant shadow that multiple people caught moving just below the surface of the water. So I'm going to say Nessie not quite entirely ruled out in 2023. That gives me a little more, it's weird to say hope, but a few more reasons to maybe believe there's something to it.
Fair enough. Hey, Chris, you want to tell us about a range snake?
Yeah, it's raining snake. In July, Peggy Jones of Silby,
Mm-hmm.
Silby, Texas, was mowing her lawn when she felt something land on her arm. She was surprised to see a snake wrapping around her arm that had clearly fallen. You mean fallen?
Yes.
Fallen out of the sky. As her brain was trying to wrap around itself, as her brain was trying to wrap itself around the sight, a hawk swooped down and grabbed the snake, pulling it into the air with enough force to drag her arm with it. The snake unwrapped itself, and the hawk flew away with its meal, leaving her arm bloodied by its talons. She went to the hospital where she was treated and kept for overnight observation, forced to process the strange moment of her world.
That's so funny because that reminds me of that scenario that Dimmicks had when he was little, where that hawk swooped down in our front yard and scooped up that squirrel. And then took it up to the railing on the front porch and was like, "Yo, check it out. Look what I got." And Dimmicks just stood there and was literally no further away from that hawk than I am from you. And it was so wild.
Now, when was this? How old was she?
He was probably 10 or 11. Because Chris was 3. Chris was 3 at the time, 3 or 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. It was such a spectacle. There was a car driving down the road. They saw it, and they stopped to take pictures because they were just so blown away by it. It was really a big thing.
Well, maybe the hawk thought, well, I'm going to drop it if I don't take a moment to get it.
The hawk just
He swooped down and went up to the porch and landed there with the squirrel in its talons and was right there next to Dimmicks and was like, "Yo, dude, check it out." And fluffed its wings and everything before it took off again. It stayed there for a minute or two.
Wow.
We were just blown away.
So Chris, you're mowing the lawn. Something hits your arm. It's a snake wrapping around your arm. How much do you freak out?
So much.
I look at the snake. I'm just like, "Bitch, what you doing?"
Unfortunately, by that time, the hawk's already come and is taking it away.
With your arm. Or trying.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the snake is really wanting her to save it. That's why it's wrapped around her arm. No, I don't want to go with the big bird. The hawk is trying to get a meal. It's like, why are you in my way? I don't want you in my way.
No, because I'm looking at the snake. I'm just like, I don't even. I'm the shit and go, no.
Language. That's not PG-13.
It's PG-13 enough. Leave me alone.
Do you know how much I'm going to have to bleep that?
I said once. Wow, Mom.
I know, sorry.
Wow.
We're not going to start 2024 by making this a not PG-13 podcast.
I'm going to 13 here soon. Why?
Because people like us. Because we don't feel the need to work blue.
Blue's over there.
What are you doing? Blue. Speaking of which, somebody should take a peek. But neither here nor there.
We've talked about several things Do we need a word from another podcast? I think we're supposed to.
Yes, we're going to need a word from another podcast.
We cordially invite you to escape to a marvelous tropical paradise. The beaches are pristine, and the parties are almost too hot to handle. Welcome to beautiful Blood Rose Island. Come to Blood Rose Island and party the day away. But watch out. If you don't catch the ferry by midnight, you're stuck until morning. And when the party ends, the fight for survival begins. Read Blood Rose Island, a startling novel by Amy Cotto. Fans of A Perfect Getaway and Touristas will enjoy this island thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very last page. Blood Rose Island by Amy Cotto, that's AMYKOTO, is available now on Kindle Unlimited and in paperback. Find this and other thrilling novels by Amy Cotto on Amazon.com or follow her on Twitter at TV Fanatic Girl. That's TV_Fanatic_Girl. Blood Rose Island by Amy Cotto. It's a vacation to die for.
Okay, that sounds really interesting.
Yes, it does. So, do you want to...
Sure. Absolutely. Work it, Bigfoot. Do-do-do-do. 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 Do-do-do. Sorry. So, Shannon and Stetson Parker were traveling by train through the San Juan Mountains on their way from Durango to Silverton. As they were watching the scenery roll by, they saw what at first they thought was a tumbleweed. It was the same color as the bushes and chaparral in the area, and soon they realized that what they were seeing was not a plant, but instead a large bipedal creature covered in hair. It was at that moment that Shannon began taking photos while the man next to her husband, Stetson, began filming the beast on his phone. In the cold sunshine of late October, they watched as the creature briefly watched the train roll past before moving towards the mountainside and was soon out of view.
I don't know how I missed this because I look for cryptid stuff every week. But yeah, late October and San Juan Mountains. Is that Colorado or is that Arizona?
No, San Juan is California.
Oh, California. Well, yeah, it could be. Durango, California? Yeah, that sounds right. Silverton, California? Yeah. So, but yeah, I missed that they were on this train ride and saw Bigfoot hiding behind, hiding in the weeds.
Wow.
So, Krysta, if you're taking pictures outside and you see a bunch of Bigfoots in them, are you scared or like happy?
I'm not the only unusual creature on this earth.
So this one kind of cracks me up. I don't think it's really like anything all that out there, but I think it's funny. So a warehouse in West Ham, London, England, is used to hold lost and missing property. They announced a list of the strangest things that they have had left on trains at train stations. The list is a bag of cooked frogs, the whole frog cooked, a taxidermied fox wearing a crown, a glass jar filled with bats, a parachute, a bunch of dried snakes.
Because why would you want just one?
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. A prosthetic leg, a Dalek costume, and a tray of different colored false eyeballs, as well as a puffer fish and some other less surprising articles as well.
Yeah, how does one leave a prosthetic limb behind?
Maybe it's your spare. I mean, right? So like some people with prosthetic legs have like a regular leg for walking, like one for like exercising or running.
Okay, I can see that. Too much stuff. I didn't get on this train with anything. Boop de doop de doop. Oh wait, where's my other leg? Got it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Cooked frogs doesn't surprise me because while I did not know people cooked and ate whole frogs, I thought it was just the legs for some reason. But if they do, then somebody carrying their lunch, dinner on a train doesn't surprise me. The taxidermied fox wearing a crown. Okay, I've seen taxidermy competitions, and in some of them, they're allowed to like
dress them up.
Yeah, to do fantastic things. Like
and you say fantastic, and of course, I think fantastic, Mr. Fox, and so like in my brain, I'm seeing like a character in something like that. So,
well, like one of the competitions, I swear the guy had a squirrel dressed up in a dapper pair of pants, with a green sparkly vest and a suit jacket and a top hat on a squirrel.
Aww.
Oh, and
sounds so cute.
And a cane.
You sound so cute.
Like a furry.
Like very dapper.
Yeah, like a
furry gentleman.
Well, I was thinking the frog. Michigan J. Frog.
Michigan J. Frog, yeah.
From Bugs Bunny. Hello, my baby. Hello, my. Yeah, that thing. So it's like a furry Michigan J. Frog.
Sure, absolutely.
But yeah, it's weird, but it's not like spooky how that happened weird.
Yeah,
it's all weird, like
strange,
weird. Like if I'm the guy who finds a tray of false eyes, I'm going to have a moment where I think they're real.
Yeah, and freak out.
But, or the Dalek costume. How do you leave your Dalek costume? That I've never seen like, this is my Dalek costume, and it's like just a shirt and maybe a
Yeah, like aren't Daleks the ones that look kind of like a
giant pepper shakers with with plungers on their arm instead of an arm?
Yeah, like that.
Yes. Yeah. I'm guessing like some of this had to be maybe there was a fight in the train and someone got knocked out and carried off and no one knew it was theirs. And at the end of the day, they're just like, doop. Yeah, so you're right. This isn't like, oh my God, this is a strange thing. How did all this stuff get here? But it is still very strange.
Right.
Chris, anything on that list that amuses, angers, or otherwise emotionally gets a response out of you? Okay. So a tray of different colored false eyes doesn't found on a train.
Would be like marbles.
It's probably.
I'd see them and I'd be like, "Who did this? This is pretty damn cool. I want to give the artist a shout out."
Hey, yeah, I never thought about that. Maybe that's something to look into.
Mom sitting over here like, ew.
Well, I'm just thinking about the process of putting it in and taking it out. And if you've got a whole tray of them, odds are they've probably been in somebody's head. And like, is your eyeball like gooey? Do you have to like use Vaseline or something to put it in it? I'm going way too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Let's bring it to a different place.
Yeah.
And go in the movie The Last Action Hero. I did like the selection of eyes the bad guy had for his fake eye.
That's true.
And I would like to have those hanging on my wall as artwork because I've seen that actor in other things and I know he has two good functioning eyes. So. I know they won't be gooey.
Sorry.
And now let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors.
Hey, babe.
Yes, dear.
I feel sponsored.
I
Yay.
also feel sponsored.
Yay. All right. Well, let me.
You want me to take the next one?
Oh, I was going to take it because you've taken the last two.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Good.
So let's do this next one. I titled it Underwater. And this one got big news, but I still felt like we had to at least mention it. A Titan submersible owned by a company called OceansGate carried tourists interested in touring the debris field of the Titanic. Well, this one simply disappeared. Like they were tracking it, and then it wasn't there to track. Multiple rescue attempts were prepared, and the submersible was looked for far and wide. But eventually, the U.S. Navy claimed that they had detected an anomaly that was most likely the sub imploding under pressure. And if that's the case, then the people who were on said sub, and there was only like 4 or 5, and one was like the CEO of the company, and the others were like scientists or media personnel, and then one guy was just the son of one of the other guys. But I still think it was kind of an adult son. So I'm not saying being ageist and saying that a child's life is worth more than an adult's, but there's more lost there. But still,
Yeah.
all in all, I just felt like
That's creepy, though. I mean, I get what they're saying. Okay, it just went, but at the same time, how if they never found it, they never found the wreckage from it. They just saw an anomaly. How do they know that that wasn't something else?
well,
How do they know that it wasn't it
they can't.
crossing over into some other plane of existence? I mean, we've talked about the ocean is one of those places where it's still very mysterious. We have not been able to get down. I mean, this case in point, we haven't been able to go down there and really get a good look at everything because there are parts of the ocean that are so deep that we can't feasibly go there. Kind of like when we talked about Antarctica and the, just completely inhospitable climate zones that we haven't really been able to go into like we would like. There are still places on this planet that are a little bit of a mystery to us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. I think when they say anomaly, they've probably seen all sorts of things.
Right.
So to them, an anomaly that, yeah, the sub just imploded. Could something else have happened? I suppose so. But by the same token, even if it just imploded, I don't know. From what little I read about the case when it was still a big deal, it seemed like that Ocean's Gate didn't do a great job building the sub in the first place. And this is something they know has to survive under pressure. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I just feel like if you had the money to take your life into your own hands like that, I'm not saying you deserved what you got, but I don't feel as bad as
kind of like the people who have gone up into outer space, into space, and it's like, you are making the choice to do that. You kind of, the risks, and you're going off to do that. Risks be darned, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I don't feel as bad about it as I would if it was a family of 5 that disappeared from a camper in the middle of Arizona. The family in the camper didn't do anything.
Right.
So yeah. But still, this was odd enough that I feel like we needed to include it, even if only briefly. Like I say, a lot of people seem to have kind of an attitude of good riddance. I won't go that far, but I will say that I guess what I'm saying is the difference I have is I'm very sorry to. Oh, I am so sorry. That's where my difference is on this.
Sure.
And yeah. Especially, I mean, yeah, it's great that they had guys going down there. Look how much I trust my equipment. Well, maybe you should have done some more testing first,
Fair enough.
But anyway, uh, we want to thank everyone who has been a guest or who has supported us. We've been doing this for over 3 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And in that time, we've had the good fortune to interview authors like Dan B. Fierce and Jane Nightshade, or comics like Dale Hilton, who was with us on our Tiger episode, and Sheila Grimm Erickson. We've done a lot of digging on cryptids and the paranormal, spent time on stories of true crime, mostly committed by people Krysta doesn't care for.
Well, yeah. Krysta's got some good morals.
We also have dug into the story of people like Mary Pickford and Sacagawea. We've covered folklore like Kulen and so much more this year. And we have so much more planned in 2024. Thank you all for listening.
Absolutely. We appreciate each one of our listeners, everyone that has decided to become part of the fam.
And everyone that comes new this year.
Absolutely, of course.
Yay, Krysta. So this is the part where we normally do our summary or our final thoughts, but
the whole show's kind of been summary and final thoughts. So
right. Yeah. So I just will use this to say once again, a very pleased and happy thank you. Richard, thanks for keeping us in line by tweeting, or is it Xing now? I don't know. Every week what you think of the episodes. We really appreciate it.
And we want to encourage more people to come to our Facebook group.
Absolutely.
And hang out, share ideas, share your stories. Let's make everything bigger and better in 2024.
Absolutely. And if you have ideas for a show, we'll listen. Like I said, a lot of the things that we're doing right now were either suggested by other people or they were suggested by doing shows, and then I realized I didn't know enough about something, and that's how I choose a lot of topics on this show. It's like, what do I know about X? Not nearly enough. Let's look into it. And then I come and tell you what I found. So this is a lifelong extension of my love of learning. And absolutely. I appreciate everyone who's here.
We are looking forward to, as Lexi gets a little bit older and able to do a little bit more reading and understand more of the topics that we talk about, including her in our show a little bit more. We did get to have her a couple of times.
Yes.
Peep into our show last year. So looking forward to doing much, much more of that this coming year.
Yes. And as long as I can keep up the pace at which I'm working on them, next year we should have at least most of the first season of Family Roll recorded.
Awesome.
And Family Roll will no longer just be a D&D actual play podcast, but it will also alternate weekly as a Call of Cthulhu actual play podcast.
Very nice.
Yeah, we've got a lot lined up for 2024. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Bill Barrett, who does our theme music. Thanks. You can read that last name is spelled Behrendt. He's one half of the Rusty and Dusty podcast, who are back in it now. So welcome back, Rusty and Dusty. If you need a musician or music for a project, Bill's your guy. You can reach him at billbarrett@sbcglobal.net. Thanks to Paige Elmore of the Reverie Crime Podcast. If you need a crime podcast, she's got an excellent one. But in addition to that, she has a Canva addiction that she's combined with the artwork of our own Crystalline to do some of our logo art. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Paige.
Thanks to Aaron Gnurk of the Big Dumb Fun Show for continuing to promote us locally. Please join our Facebook group, as Laura said, and join us next week for another special episode. I'll give you a hint, Marilyn Monroe, of the Family Plot Podcast. Bye!